G'day, it's Adam here again with another quick instant movie review for you. So tonight we're having a chat about TINÄ. This is the latest film from a New Zealand filmmaker, Miki Magasiva, and it stars Anapela Polataivao as a Samoan woman who, after some time grieving over the death of her daughter during the Christchurch earthquake, gets a job working as a substitute teacher for an elite school. Her quirky persona and gift for music makes her both a target for the traditional teaching board, but also as a bit of a favourite with all the students there. So certainly the repressed students whom she gives a lot of guidance, care and inspiration to through the language of song. Yes, this is one of those inspirational tales. I got a chance to catch up with Anapela and with Mikey recently, so here's that chat. But stay tuned afterwards for my thoughts on the movie. Enjoy. Firstly, guys, congratulations on this amazing film. I actually watched it last night with my family, and we're actually all still reeling about how special it was. I think for me, straight off the bat, a film that can bring a family together to watch it together is something truly special as a film critic. There's not often that you get a film like that. Was that a big driving force for you, Mikey?
Yeah, it was. Thanks for having us, Adam. Excited to be here. Yeah, it was a large part of it, and we're going through a time at the moment where it's very difficult to get people in shared experience spaces, like the movies. Adam, you look like you're my age. So
Yes.
we grew up going to the theater, going to the movies, and going with our parents and going with our families. And outside of the school holidays, we don't get to do that very much anymore. And we certainly don't get to do it with three generations of our family, from grandparents to parents, right down to the kids. And so we tried to do a film that used techniques that would bring families together. So we use a little bit of music in there. Well, a lot, let's face it. And we use some comedy, and we use some emotion, and we use some connective themes in there to try and create a story that everyone can go to and enjoy.
Mm. And you've hit on it right there, actually. My daughter is a massive singer. And so she straight away connected with the singing. Then my daughter's a sucker for a comedy and for, a little bit of love and heart. And you've nailed it there, which is great. But Annapella, I want to discuss with you a little bit about your character because it's evolved a fair bit since the film was written by Micah. Is that correct?
Well, Mickey and we got together sort of like when you first thought about it, really, eh?
Mm.
And then from that moment to up until shoot, Mickey and I sort of like had a look at Marita and sort of like some of the things which resonated also with myself. Also at the time, I think, was I teaching at that time? I was, yeah.
Mm.
So there were lots of sort of like commonalities between her realities and my reality as well at that time, and sort of like drawing upon those experiences.
So it was quite a collaborative process in the development side of the fence,
Well,
guys.
I think just sort of like more kind of shaping her worldview
Mm,
to an extent, just sort of like those, like I said, the common threads between Marita's life and my own.
mm.
But other than that, it's really much just the genius of this guy.
And it is a genius. And Mikey, I know that you said that you want to pay tribute to mothers in this film, which
Yes.
is a beautiful universal theme and not something we often see on screen. Was that sort of the driving whole force to this, and then you sort of built a story around it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, um, just talking from our own culture, from being from Samoa, but I think it's probably a universal thing.
Mm,
How important our mothers are to us, our community, and our families. We hold them in high esteem, and so the title "TINÄ," when you call someone "TINÄ," and they're not necessarily your biological parents, it's a mark of respect. I mean, I think maybe you all in Australia have the same thing with auntie.
Yes.
And so that's something that I wanted to showcase. I just think that's a really rich ground to explore a character that comes from that background, and we can pay tribute to that, to not only our mothers but also to our parents. And so I hope lots of mothers go out there, or lots of kids take their mothers out there and have that experience with them, because
Yeah.
we've had lots of feedback already about that happening, and it's
Yeah.
just a joy to hear that.
Beautiful. Well, it's going to be coming out on near Mother's Day for us here in Australia, so
Yes,
it's going to be a
Yes.
perfect time to go and take your mum to go
perfect
see
timing.
this film,
Yes,
which is perfect, which is so lovely. Anapela, you're considered to be like the godmother of Samoan acting there.
yes.
So how was it jumping onto this set? And I believe a lot of the choir were choir, and they weren't actually actors per se. How does your process differ when you're working with people that aren't professional actors, and what do you bring to those people?
It doesn't really. You sort of like just dispel that myth that you're a senior and the younger actors. You sort of like you just you constantly trying to work towards a workspace that's encouraging and it's fun.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And I mean, I think it's a testament to these guys, sort of, Miki and his team, sort of like it comes from the top and it filters down, sort of like the joy, the love, the encouragement, that sort of working space. So it was already in there, in terms of myself coming through with the students and stuff. And like they were just such a treat to work with
Mm.
as well. And they were all singers as well. Maybe bar a couple of them, they were actors, but yeah,
Mm.
they were just dream kids.
Mikey is, and actually it's interesting on that because Mikey, is it harder to direct someone who's not an actor to sing, or someone who's a singer to act?
Well, probably a singer to act. But having said that, that wasn't appropriate for us. Um, all of the kids that Baz was just talking about, let's just say 90% of them hadn't been on set before.
Mm.
Mm.
And yet there's something about the fact that they are all choir singers that allowed them to understand their roles easier. That even though they hadn't been in front of the camera before, they had been on stage before a lot. They had sung, obviously, songs a lot. And so I guess they didn't have to act that experience. They just did what they normally do. And then when we brought them into spaces that they hadn't been to in a while, like a school space, they relished that because they remember that fondly, and were able to sink into those spaces. And by that time, we'd all been together for a month already.
Mm.
So we had gotten comfortable with each other and created this very trusting environment that they were able to just go there and act really natural. And then even with scenes, they would be adding and improvising little things that I saw in the edit, because I hadn't seen it on the day and just was blown away.
Mm.
We love those kids. And they're not kids. Let's face it; they're all adults now. So,
Young adults.
but
Yeah.
we absolutely love them, and we owe
Yeah.
them a lot.
Well, it's a beautiful sense of community that really resonates throughout the entire film, I think. And kudos to you, Anapela, really, being the mother force in that. And it really really shows so beautifully the evolution of the character as such. Putting the element of the earthquake in there is something we haven't really seen, or I haven't seen on screen anyway, sort of featured before. Was that what was the reason for putting that in there? Was that just part of the journey of grief that you wanted the character to go through on that one, Mikey?
Yeah, well, it's I think when you have what I wanted to do was to have an event that launched the whole story.
Mm.
That where not only our characters went through grief, but an entire community went
Mm.
through a very traumatic time.
Mm.
And that's a big feature of our New Zealand history that we remember really well. And so it helps with themes about a broken city, and connecting that with a broken character.
Mm.
And Christchurch rebuilt itself now to a stage where it's just the most absolutely amazing city, beautiful city. And they did that by coming together as a community. They went through a lot of heartbreak at that time, and then there was insurance difficulties in rebuilding their cities, but it galvanized them, it brought them together, and they're such a strong people down there. And that sense of rebuilding a community, but also rebuilding yourself through community was just so perfect for our theme of our film.
Technically, Micah, the film looks so beautiful. Like the DOP, Andrew McGeorge, has done a sensational job filming that, and the warmth and the color palette, it just really, it was just a beautiful experience watching it. I was really, really taken. Was it important to think about what the color palette was going to look like for this film? Like, was there particular colors and styles that you wanted to work with that maybe you haven't worked with before?
Well, we did want to, we set out right from the beginning to make a very, very strong photographic film. We wanted to make it feel and look like a film, like a movie. It's part of that experience of trying to get people back into theaters again. So we focused really hard on making sure that our frames also reflected the story. And Drew did an amazing job to do that, because in these things you have very little resource. And so we had to have long discussions about how we would achieve it. And there was many discussions about how we can keep it simple, but also use that as an advantage that built into the story's themes. And I also have to give a lot of credit to Claire, who graded the film. She came in and added a lot to the film, and we spent a lot of time grading it and making sure the look of it was rich enough to reflect the richness of the story as well. So lots of big, massive thanks and flowers to both Claire and Drew for their work on this film.
Beautiful. Guys, that is my time, but I just want to, if I could stand up and give you a round of applause, I would, because this film is truly beautiful, and it has universal appeal, but it has a massive heart at the center of it. So massive congratulations to you both for a truly beautiful movie, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you both produce next.
Thanks, Adam. Cheers, mate.
Adam.
Take care.
Well, a big thanks to Anapela and to Mikey for their time having a chat about their amazing film, TINÄ. Definitely worth checking out. So my thoughts on this film is, obviously, by the sounds of things and the setup of things, this film deals with a lot of things from the heart that are very much Samoan, but can translate across all languages. That being the communities working together to rebuild, individuals giving giving a gift to others that might be in need. And yeah, it really is one of those heartwarming, inspirational stories. So this type of thing has been done a fair bit, where you've got a teacher coming in who is left of center to the organization that is going to bring some inspiration to the kids that traditionally they wouldn't receive it. So that style of thing, I feel, has been pretty well stamped on a lot of inspirational films over the years. However, I think this one, because of the Samoan heart and because of the relevance around the earthquake, it certainly does give it a little bit more heft, I'd say, and a little bit more soul. And that really is down to an amazing performance by Anapela. She really just brings it in this film. She really does give a lot of gravitas to this film that could otherwise be, relatively, middle of the road, I suppose. But the other thing that really puts this up a notch is it's so beautifully shot. Like I know we talked about it in the interview, the cinematography in this film really is on point. And as Mikey did say in his interview, the crew and the creative team really did want to create something that looked cinematic, that didn't look like it would feel quite at home on a streaming service, something that had big screen appeal with a lot of personal heart. And that's really what TINÄ really does, is it really showcases the nurturing of this mother figure, this gift of music, but all in a really beautiful cinematic landscape that really tells the story almost all on its own. It was a really lovely watching this film. It does pull at the heartstrings. And the acting in this, even by those, as we mentioned in the interviews, those people that aren't traditionally actors, not trained professional actors, but are very aware of their stagecraft, did a phenomenal job. So I would highly recommend going and seeing TINÄ. It's one of those films that you really want to go with your family because it is a family orientated film. It's got some lovely chuckles, a big heart, and certainly bring your box of tissues with you as well because you will get a little bit weepy in there. All right, that is it from me. I look forward to catching up with you all next time here in my car. Goodbye. That's as far as I'm going to sing.